Okay, I have to admit that I have not watched everybody's food pantry videos at this point, but I am going ahead and taping mine while my husband is not in the house and I can get to everything and have plenty of time to talk. So I am starting out in the garage. Yay for the garage and all of its stuff that is out here. And this is what I fondly call the beer cooler. It is actually a deep freeze that can be turned into a refrigerator. So you'll see that we have soda pop on the top shelf, vitamin waters, which is just flavored water with water flavored with juice, Pepsi, Bud Light, a bunch of water because my husband only drinks cold water. More Bud Light and Gatorade for after he mows the lawn. And then he really likes new and interesting things. So there's Coney Island hard root beer, best damn cherry root cola. This one's not your father's root beer. Henry's hard orange soda. More Gatorade, strawberry limeritas. Little bottle of, who knows, what is that? Fireball cinnamon whiskey. He just likes to try all sorts of different things, but there you go, soda, water, and alcohol cooler. This thing here is the actual deep freeze. It has not been switched over to a refrigerator. You'll see we have twice baked potatoes that we keep on hand for when we grill. Little cups of mac and cheese for easy meals. Chopped onions, because I hate chopping onions. Chopped broccoli, corn, rice things. There's pork chops ready for the grill. Mini frozen pizzas. Breakfast sausage, because I like to just have sausage in the morning. This side over here is a bunch of different meat cuts. We regularly keep, that's pineapple hamburgers, pork chops, more pizzas, bratwurst. I think that's probably steak, no, pork loin. All sorts of fun meat cuts because we do a lot of grilling during the summer. So we like to stock up anytime it's on sale, or we actually buy quarter cows sometimes or other large cuts of meat because we have the place to store it. Chicken nuggets, super exciting. Those get eaten a lot. Chicken tenders, which get grilled, but more often they get soaked in something like Italian dressing and then get cooked on the grill or in a frying pan. My husband has an obsession with coffee, so that's espresso beans that we keep in the freezer. They just keep longer that way. More meat. That looks like my steak and a lot of hamburger, some bratwurst. Can't have anything Italian without garlic bread. So we have garlic toast in a container down there. These are bottles of ice water. Because when it does get to be grilling season, we like to have ice to put in coolers. So we always tend to freeze a few gallons of water here and there. Country fried steak. Italian in a bag. And then I don't know if you can see it down there. That is an actual full pork loin that we have to smoke at some point. And more frozen bottles of water. So that is our deep freeze. Excuse the camera angle while I find a way to close that. All right. Hello, Hans. Hi. You'll notice just inside the door is more bottles of water. This is because I don't drink cold drinks at all. So this is my collection, whereas John has the collection inside the freezer or the cooler. This is camera angle change. I don't know if that'll go over so well on the video. I apologize. So this is our side pantry, and because I don't know about the angle, I'm switching back. We keep paper towels, extra tissues, extra Ziploc bags, water bottles that won't fit anywhere else. There's some of our plastic bags, our plastic bag of plastic bags, and we keep paper bags over here as well. That's the food processors that are right there. Not food processors. Those are sealers, food sealants. Girl Scout cookies, because, yep, I eat a lot of Girl Scout cookies. So these are one of my favorite, which is the peanut butter sandwiches. Those are really, really delicious. And then these are my other favorite. These are the peanut butter patties, which are just chocolate covered peanut butter and a little bit of a wafer. We always keep the shortbread cookies on hand as well, because those are dog friendly and we can feed them to our dog occasionally. We keep lots of tin foil and more Ziploc bags, freezer paper. There's some oven paper in there somewhere, wax paper, cling wrap, just anything that we might need while we're cooking. This is a shelf of things that are needed for picnics. You'll see the plastic cups and the napkins, silverware back there, more aluminum foil. I guess that just didn't fit on the upper cabinet at some point. And then this cabinet down here is for the deep fryer. There's a mini deep fryer, Fry Daddy, back there. That box that you see that's in the way is actually more white chocolate that my husband uses for his coffee. And then, of course, the giant thing of vegetable oil, so that when we do fry something, we can change the oil out whenever we want to. This is the bigger pantry. It has the pull-out shelves. Once upon a time, it was an organized pantry. It is no longer organized. There on the top shelf is where we usually keep bread products, but there's my Rice Krispie Treat cereal and my honeycombs. John does not eat cereal, so that's 100% me. You'll see some chips that are back there in the background. Those are Frito chips because they're the best for chili ever. And I always like the scoops because they're better. There's his crackers, better cheddar crackers, and whatever kind of crackers that my husband eats. I do not eat crackers at all, so that's totally at his domain. This is actually leftover Halloween candy. Last year during Halloween, on Halloween Day, it was also the same day of a Royals game, and the Royals is the local baseball team. There's more Halloween candy. And so it turns out that even though we do a giant display and we usually have close to 300 or 400 kids come by our house, we didn't have anybody. We had about half our normal size, and the flow of children stopped at about 6 o'clock when the game started. So it was a bad Halloween year, and thus we have excess candy hanging around. I share it out when I can, but there you go. There's also this bag that has baking chocolates in it, because I usually make things like heart mold chocolates or chocolate covered Oreos. Sometimes I make truffles, so there's even more candy on this row. This is usually the shelf that has all of the boxes and pre-made stuff on it. You'll see there's some soup back there in the corner and ramen noodles, more soup, I think. Who knows? What's all the way back there? Rice-A-Roni cups is what's, I'm sorry, Rice-A-Roni cups, that's what that one is. A Velveeta casserole mix. Don't know why the Honey Maids are on this shelf. They're being moved right now. More soup, pasta, popcorn. Of course, we have to get the extra better kind of popcorn because it's the best. Things like rice sides, gumbo, buffalo chicken, the regular chicken flavored rice sides, bag of muffin mix. This is wild berry muffin mix, which must be mine because John doesn't eat berry muffins. He only eats apple muffins. And then there's our collection of hot chocolate. Of course, you have to have multiple kinds. This happens to be rich chocolate, caramel delight, and then double chocolate. Oh, and another box, rich milk chocolate. So very exciting on the chocolate front. And there's me crushing boxes, which isn't always a smart move. This shelf, I don't know what happened to this shelf either. Like I said, it's no longer organized. Back here in the back, we have things like protein bars, munchies, quick snacks, our giant box of multiple boxes of Kraft mac and cheese. This is the only kind of mac and cheese that I actually eat, so it usually gets left on hand. Au gratin potatoes, because who doesn't love au gratin potatoes? And then it's pasta. There's Thai pasta, regular normal people pasta of different shapes and different sizes and corkscrews and elbows, and there's some bow ties. We just always like our variety of pastas. More candy, that's probably needs to be on another shelf. Starbursts and Oreos. Oreo peanut butter cup cookies, my husband loves them, not my favorite. I'd rather have the regular. And these are cowtails, which John got for me because I've never had cowtails before. As you can see, the box is unopened. Going through chemo, it's sometimes hard to have anything with a lot of sugar in it. So that's waiting to be eaten kind of a thing. Mixed nuts. Again, this is a lot of the grab-and-go type stuff that is on this shelf. Tortillas, because John loves tacos, so we eat a lot of tacos, and that's fine by me because I love that I can add and delete whatever I want. And sometimes we even make the tacos or burritos and we put them in the oven and fry them again, or we make the burritos and then we put them out on the actual grill so that they can be grilled on the outside, and I love doing that. More instant ramen, grab and go kind of stuff. And then here's a little collection of drink options. The hot chocolate was on the higher shelf. This is usually teas and other kinds of add-ins. So there's my fancy schmancy, costs a lot, and you have to have the right empty tea bags to put the leaves in kind of tea. Otherwise, peppermint, which I always find helps when I have a cold, Earl Grey, which is just my favorite, and black tea, because black tea, it's what you add everything to. So I like to add flavors to my teas, and I start with the black tea. And black tea makes the best sun tea, so we keep it on hand as well. The other thing you'll see, and I think it's on the lower shelf, is that if I'm going to get a standardized tea, I prefer Louisiana to Lipton. And I don't know why. I just always have. So there's Country Time lemonade, and then the Crystal Light lemonade. The Crystal Light one is sugar-free for when John's family comes over. The other one is full sugar because that's the kind I like. Kool-Aid. We always keep Kool-Aid on hand. John actually really likes Kool-Aid, but when the niece and nephew come over, they're big Kool-Aid drinkers as well. There's my Louisiana box. Promised it was around here somewhere. And my spare Louisiana box for when you're making a ton of tea and you run out. These are for the Soda Stream machine. It's a machine that makes soda pop, adds carbonation to just plain water, and then you add in the flavoring. So that's Diet Coke and then the lemon lime or Sprite, whatever it wants to be called. Crystal Light, again, are add-ins that can be added to any kind of drink or water. Strawberry orange banana and strawberry watermelon. If it's an interesting flavor, it's probably something I picked up because I like them. But they're just these packets that you dump into however much water. It usually says 2 quarts, I believe, for the big ones. And behind that's my fun rice for when I make paella. I love trying things like different country flavors and things of that sort. John will usually suffer through about 2 bites, and then he decides that he'd rather make one of the individual pizzas or something. But at least he tries it. So, more hot chocolate. That's the collection of barbecue sauce. My husband feels like Masterpiece, which is this one, is too sweet. And he feels like the Gates is too spicy. These are 2 Kansas City brands, by the way. And so he mixes the two together, adds Worcestershire sauce and garlic powder and whatever else he feels like his barbecue sauce needs. So we always keep the two base ingredients on hand. And then if he ever wants to try something different, we will sometimes get something different. Like this is kettle cooked sweet honey molasses barbecue sauce. So it'll get used on its own until he decides if it should be added to the mixture. Pop-Tarts, unfrosted. That's my husband. I have never understood why you would get Pop-Tarts and eat them unfrosted, but there you go. Pineapple juice, that would definitely be a me thing. John does not like pineapple. It is the one fruit he absolutely refuses. Splenda and Equal are sugar substitutes. John's dad is diabetic, and so he prefers Equal, but I keep both on hand just because I never know what to make. And that's the bread mix box, which is the sign of hope and futility here in the house. We don't actually have a bread maker. I take that back. Let me fix my words. My mom promised to let us use her bread making machine or to give it to us, and it's just never happened. So we bought the bread mix thinking we'd have a machine, and then it just sits here. And it's a sign of hope that maybe one day there will be fresh bread. But it's also a sign of futility because it just has never happened. Jell-O, because what house is complete without Jell-O? And my favorite Jell-O, pistachio. So I don't know why that's important, but it is pistachio and butterscotch Jell-O. More hot chocolate, which I am now relocating up to the hot chocolate collection because that seems more appropriate. But there you go, individual hot chocolates. Probably got them for Christmas. Caramels, I like to keep those on hand because caramel, if you twist caramel around pretzels and then dip them into the colored chocolate, it always goes over really, really well at any kind of party. So it seems important. Usually there's a whole collection of raisins, but today there is not. This is the only fish you will find in my entire house. Salmon in a can, which I use to make salmon patties, but only when my husband's not home because he doesn't like the smell. And then chicken of the sea white tuna, which I'm the only one that eats that as well. But since I don't like mayonnaise and a lot of stuff, I'm such a picky eater. I only eat tuna with mustard. So it sits there until I'm ready to have that. And then peanut butter, because you have to have multi flavors. There's extra crunchy and creamy. The dog prefers extra crunchy. John prefers extra crunchy. I prefer creamy. And more peanut butter. So we'll add that up to the other shelf. This is usually our baking shelf for things that get mixed in other places. Quaker Quick Oats, which one might think is actually a product in and of itself, but no, it is used for raisin oatmeal cookies or no-bake cookies. Starch, cornstarch, cocktail sauce and cocktail spices. Back there is that Zatarance, salt, baking powder, Caliber Girl is always my favorite. Corn for if we actually want to do real popcorn, we keep that on hand. Food coloring, cocoa powder. This is plain honey, local honey, because if you get local honey, it has the pollen from the local area mixed into it, and so it's likely to stop allergies. They tell me, and I've never had a problem with allergies, but there you go. I like local honey, and it supports my local farmers, so that's always good. This is coconut oil. Worcestershire sauce we go through a lot of, and garlic. So this is garlic olive oil. Underneath the chocolate chips, you have vinegar. There's a lot of vinegar around here, but I make bruschetta quite often, so the aged balsamic is good for me. Rice, brown sugar, and white sugar, and powdered sugar. So we have all the sugars covered. Pickles, they end up on this shelf less because they're not a standalone item and more because we fry a lot of pickles. People love John's fried pickles. We do keep the current flour bag inside the house. Usually we have a spare bag in the deep freeze, but I noticed we didn't this time. That's more vinegar. Syrup, you have to have corn syrup and pancake syrup, so that of course is in there. And then red wine vinegar, because that's what I add to everything. So that is the pantry. And then there's this cabinet here, which is more of our food storage. Top shelf is actually, John makes candles, so he leaves his waxes and things of that sort on the top shelf, but his wax is really good for canning if I ever need it. Next shelf down is little fruits, and then things like butter beans, whole tomatoes, partial tomatoes, green beans. Usually you'll find multiple cuts of green beans. These are fancy cut green beans. John prefers the French cut green beans. Dark sweet cherries, which is what I use for my cherry Coke salad. Pineapple slices, again, something you'll never see John eat. Tomato paste, things of that sort are in the back to make spaghetti sauce if needed. It's where we keep our cooking spray. It's just Pam. A couple of the cookbooks are back here. Pre-canned chili for super lazy days. I just dropped the mouse trap. It's always good to have one of those on hand. More tomatoes. Enchilada sauce for soup. I love to make an enchilada soup. Rotel tomatoes, because John loves his Rotel dip, especially at this time of the year when it's about barbecues. There's some soups back there, more tomatoes. These jars are always fun to make. My sisters and I trade them back and forth. They're pre-made food in a jar. You just add, this one would ask us to add boiling water and ham. So once you add the boiling water and ham, this includes the rest. It's creamy ham and potato casserole. And it's up here in the cabinet because it says cheesy ham and potato casserole, and I don't eat cheese. So it will wait until John wants it. The chili beans back there for a chili day. And if you're wondering why in the world we have so much canned milk, it is because John makes his own white chocolate mixture. And so that's the base ingredients for his white chocolate mixture. And he'll make that, I think he makes it about once every week and a half, because he goes through that much chocolate. There, of course, is his coffee machine and a pump of some sort of flavoring, espresso beans in the big container. This is my freezer. It is a mess. This, please do not be freaked out. That is coffee. Every time my husband drops ice into his coffee, it splashes out. So I'm forever cleaning up coffee. More meat, hamburger meat, chicken meat, more chicken meat up there. Some frozen items of things that we didn't finish. That's stew right there. Chicken patties, chicken tenders, that kind of thing. I keep my cornmeal in the freezer. I make corn muffins. I do not make cornbread. Mine are just way too sweet. You'll see a lot of little things like leftover coconut that I keep on hand. This is more coconut that is on hand. Some pecans for whenever one needs them. This probably needs to be tossed, but it used to be an onion. Told you I hate to cut onions. That's probably proof of it right there. More meat. We are big meat eaters. Very important, mint chocolate chip ice cream. This is usually what my husband gets. It's his favorite flavor. I prefer something that has a little fruit to it. So that is my pineapple sherbet. You know that he won't touch it because it says pineapple. These fruit smoothies are fun, but they require you to have orange juice or apple juice on hand. So they're hit and miss if they actually get eaten. More chicken nuggets. You can tell we're a fan. Brussels sprouts. Looks like there's some broccoli back there. That kind of thing. That's one of our ice packs so that when we do take lunch somewhere, we have that as well. All right. Sorry guys about the breathing heavy thing. It was chemo today and I'm not recouped very well. Stick butter, which is very important for cooking, not to be confused with tub butter, which is not to be confused with the shortening. I guess I didn't see any in the cabinet, so we might be out of that at the moment. You can see some homemade jelly back there, maraschino cherries that we like to add to like Coke or to desserts. Jarred garlic. I really don't like cutting up garlic either, so we get the pre-cut things. A lot of lemon juice there. A lot of my desserts are flavored with lemon and lime juice, because one cannot forget lime juice. You'll find things in our cabinet like this zesty garlic sauce. When we go to state fairs and things of that sort, we usually end up picking up one or two things that just local gardeners are selling, and this happens to be one of them. Fantastic on garlic bread, but they say to put it on meat. I just haven't at this point. Green salsa, not to be confused with the red salsa. You can tell which one we use more of there. I like odd jellies for the area. This one's red currant. It's one of my favorites. I put them in Linzer cookies a lot. Soy sauce, teriyaki sauce, barbecue sauce. That would be a specialty one. Parsley in a squeeze tube. It's true. It's a thing. And then spray on butter. A lot of the door for the cabinet or for the refrigerator is salad dressings, Italian dressings, poppy seed dressing, ranch dressing, things like ketchup, mustard, pickle relish right there. That's pizza sauce for when we do make pizza. More butterscotch or caramel sauce. I'm not really sure which one that is. I think it's butterscotch. With a name like Smucker's, it has to be good, is the slogan there, and I agree with them wholeheartedly. My little half bag of salad that is dying under the pizza box. And you'll see back there in the back is more caramel and butterscotch sauce. We have sweets all over the place. A little bit of leftover pasta salad. Looks like we've got some pickled okra back there in the back. A couple of bottles of, looks like apple juice back there. Some bacon bits. A little can of instant coffee. That is important, believe it or not. My mom only likes Folgers instant coffee, so when she comes over, that's her coffee right there. That bottle that looks like it should be barbecue sauce is actually my husband's mixture. So if you ever come over, always read the cap, because the cap will say John on it. Ham for hot ham and cheese sandwiches, the bacon that's sitting on top of it, pepperoni over there on the side, that's some pre-cooked chicken back there. This up here is pre-cooked turkey wrapped in bacon, so a couple of meat leftovers, applesauce, more Worcestershire sauce, homemade jam, and pizza sauce again. More coffee. Coffee is important. Eggs, which have expired. You will notice that those are, oh well, maybe not sell by April 21st, used by May 6th. So I guess we need to make some cookies or something. And then those jars back there that have the aluminum foil around it, that is actually cucumbers that I have soaking in vinegar. So that's homemade pickles back there. Some carrots hiding away. Who knows if they'll ever get eaten. And sugar-free apricot jam. That is so my husband. And we're going to try and close the door, but my dog is helping very much there. The only other cabinet I have that has any foodstuffs in it, and I hate to even show this because people will think we're lushes, but John has collected a lot of alcohol over the years, and some of it's stuff to make fancy mixed drinks, which he thought I would eat or drink or whatever at the time. So we have a whole collection of miscellaneous random alcohol things with the scary Halloween hand that made itself home on the refrigerator, and I'm just now noticing. So that is a tour of my multiple pantries and my freezers. And now I'm gonna go look at what everybody else has in their kitchen. Thank you very much.